Welcome to ITO's channel. In this video we are going to talk about top 15 best movie of all time. So before starting this video, like this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates. It's almost impossible to rank the greatest films ever made. To begin with, no one has ever seen any film ever made. Even if anyone had accomplished that feat, movies are highly subjective, and what one person considers to be a great film might not be so to another. A list based on audience reviews is the nearest we can get to a definitive ranking. Number 15. The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, 2002. Given that The Two Towers is the lowest rated film in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, it's clear that this is a famous franchise. The Fellowship was separated in the second film when they tried to fight Sauron's evil powers. The film is another grand fantasy epic with two standout elements: the proper introduction of Gollum and the huge and exciting fight sequence in the third act. Number 14. Star Wars, Episode V, The Empire Strikes Back, 1980. No Star Wars film made it into the top 10, which could surprise some fans. What's less shocking is that The Empire Strikes Back is the franchise's highest-rated film. This time around, the story set in a galaxy far, far away was much darker and more complex. Han Solo and Leia evade capture as Darth Vader and the Empire close in on the heroes, while Luke Skywalker tries to learn more about the Jedi ways. This film really demonstrated how much sequels can advance a plot, with interesting development for returning characters and some iconic new ones showing up. Number 13. Inception, 2010. With his mind-bending crime film, Inception, Christopher Nolan demonstrated that he is one of the most ambitious filmmakers working today. The plot revolves around a group of criminals who have the power to invade people's dreams and steal their ideas. The team's chief, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is on a quest to score one last goal. The film's imaginative concept is backed up by Nolan's spectacular visuals. It creates some memorable action sequences. It's more than just another heist movie, with one of the most contentious endings ever. Number 12. Forrest Gump, 1994. With the titular character in Forrest Gump, Tom Hanks created perhaps his most famous film character of all time. The film follows the many misadventures of Forrest, a plain yet sweet young boy who unwittingly finds himself in the midst of many of America's most crucial moments. Hanks gives an outstanding performance, imbuing this character with just enough charisma and heart to keep him from being cartoonish. It's a funny, touching, and entertaining film that's still entertaining audiences after all these years. Number 11. Fight Club, 1999. David Fincher is indeed one of today's most creative filmmakers. Because of his own perfectionist approach and distinct visual style, his designs are always bleak, yet still convincing. Fight Club is his most well-known film, as well as one of the most thrilling films of the 1990s. Edward Norton plays a mundane working man whose life is turned upside down when he meets the enigmatic Tyler Durden, Brad Pitt, and the two form a club for grown men to beat each other up. It's an exciting watch thanks to the dark comedy, graphic brutality, and bizarre philosophies, and the twist ending makes you want to watch it again and again. Number 10. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, 2001. The Fellowship of the Rings is the first installment in Peter Jackson's hugely influential fantasy trilogy. Fans were transported to Middle-earth, where Frodo Baggins and a band of heroes set out to kill the Mighty One Ring, before Sauron could use it for evil, as J.R.R. Tolkien's books were brought to life. The film does an excellent job of introducing this lovely world and its inhabitants. Fun, fear, and action abound in this easy but exciting search. It's easy to see why people were attracted to this franchise right away. Number 9. The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, 1966. Westerns have long been a Hollywood standard, but when the genre crossed the Atlantic to Italy, it forever changed the genre. The so-called spaghetti westerns presented more nuanced stories with unusual filmmaking techniques that audiences have never seen before. In that subgenre, the good, the bad, and the ugly is the final entry. In the middle of the Civil War, three deadly men embark on a mission to recover lost treasure. The film made Clint Eastwood a star and gave us one of the most famous film scores of all time. It also helped popularize the Mexican standoff trend, which is still used in action movies today. Number 8. Pulp Fiction, 1994. One of the most well-known filmmakers of all time is Quentin Tarantino. His distinct voice, in-depth knowledge of the film industry, and knack for merging hilarious humor with graphic violence influenced a generation of filmmakers. Some consider Pulp Fiction to be his masterpiece, and it's difficult to disagree. The film alternates between different stories set in the underbelly of Los Angeles. Tarantino takes well-known crime stories and adds his own unique spin to them. The film is unpredictable and fast-paced, with endlessly quotable dialogue and an incredible soundtrack to match. It's been imitated a lot, but it's never been duplicated. Number 7. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, 2003. Few believed it would be possible to adapt J.R.R. Tolkien's epic Lord of the Rings series for the big screen, but Peter Jackson proved them all wrong. Jackson managed to put one of the greatest film trilogies of all time to a satisfactory end with The Return of the King. The search to break the One Ring comes to a close in this film. Although the film is mocked for its protracted conclusion, Jackson and his team did an excellent job of bringing it all to a close in this emotional spectacle that features some truly incredible fight sequences. Number 6. Schindler's List is a film about a Holocaust survivor, 1993. Steven Spielberg's name appears on the list of the best-rated films of all time with little surprise. Despite his proclivity for making beloved films, there were a few that might have reached the top 10. However, his most difficult film to watch receives the highest rating, which is fitting given that it is one of his best works as a director. Schindler's List is a harrowing account of Oskar Schindler's real-life efforts to save Jewish people of Germany under Nazi rule. Although Schindler may be a heroic figure, the film excels as a chilling depiction of the Holocaust. Spielberg made a film that would linger in the minds of audiences for years to come, shot in eerie black and white. Number 5. 12 Angry Men, 1957. While the majority of the films on this list are massive epics, 12 Angry Men is considerably smaller. However, this has no bearing on the severity of the issue. The film is almost entirely set within a jury chamber, with the 12 men debating a murder case they recently presided over. The film depicts the life or death argument that ensues when one voice insists the accused is innocent. Although the setting can seem uninteresting, it only adds to the film's strength. As the discussion continues, the filmmaking beautifully makes the space feel more and more confined. The claustrophobic feeling contributes to the overall atmosphere. It's a beautiful example of how small-scale films can have a major effect. Number 4. The Dark Knight, 2008. The Dark Knight is the newest film on the list, coming in just ahead of 12 Angry Men, which is the oldest. The superhero genre might not be well liked by most moviegoers, but Christopher Nolan's second Batman film showed that it is capable of producing intelligent, dramatic, and exciting films. The film follows Batman's desperate quest for someone to take over the role of the city's guardian, as he tries to stop Joker from destroying Gotham. The film has the feel of a crime drama, with some spectacular set pieces and unexpected twists. The late Heath Ledger's mesmerizing turn as the anarchist Joker, however, is the film's most memorable aspect. Number 3. The Godfather, Part II, 1974. The Dark Knight is one of the few exceptions to the rule that a sequel can be a worthwhile film in and of itself. The Godfather, Part II is, of course, the most common example of this. Francis Ford Coppola's decision to make a sequel to his critically acclaimed crime saga may have seemed absurd at the time, but he proved it was a brilliant decision. The film tells the story of young Vito Corleone, played by Robert De Niro, who makes the role his own in the absence of Marlon Brando. The sequel follows Michael's descent into the world of crime, and his fraught friendship with his brother Fredo, in addition to those awesome flashback scenes. A fantastic continuation and a standalone masterpiece. Number 2. The Godfather, 1972. The Godfather stars Al Martino as Johnny Fontaine and Marlon Brando as Don Vito Corleone. The Godfather, Part II is one of the most critically acclaimed films of all time, but it isn't the best of the trilogy. The distinction belongs to the initial. Although there is much controversy among film fans as to which is the superior film, it is safe to assume that they are both monumental achievements in cinema. The Corleone family, an Italian-American mafia family, struggles to retain control after their patriarch is nearly assassinated in this film. The movie is aggressive, amusing, intense, emotional, and many other things. There are several quotable lines and memorable scenes in this film. It's no surprise that many of today's top filmmakers consider it as an inspiration. Number 1. The Shawshank Redemption, 1994. It should come as no surprise that the highest-rated film of all time is also one of the most successful. You'd think a story set inside a maximum security prison wouldn't have many happy moments, but The Shawshank Redemption is a surprisingly upbeat story. The film is based on a Stephen King story, and follows a relationship between two inmates over several years at the titular jail. The two men's friendship is one of the most heartwarming ever depicted on video, and it contributes to the film's beautiful moments, which culminate in one of cinema's greatest endings. What do you think about this video? Do let us know down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.